Here's an example to show a circular archway. The window is a separate object, and I used a boolean to cut open a doorway. I start off with a cube. Imagine that this is a house and I want an archway constructed on the house. I create a plane right on the house. I make sure it's the orthogonal view, so it will be 90 degrees to the house, and I make a geometry nodes for the plane. I don't need the input, so I delete it. And now I create a circle. It has points. Put instances on those points. The instance will be the stone. So a small cube will be each stone. I name the objects. And I put the three objects into a collection I call arch. The plane I like to call a point cloud, so I won't be mixed up. And there's a house and a stone, so a total of three objects. And I put them in the arch collection. The plane I like to call a point cloud because it is creating a point cloud. I hide the house. Now I just see the small cube that I will make into a stone. Select the point cloud, and I go to the geometry node editor. I drag the stone into the editor, and that creates the node. That's the instance. But I forget to connect the mesh circle, so I do that. And I rotate the mesh circle 90 degrees around X. I can scale all the instances together with a value. There are 32 points in the circle, but that's too many. I make sure the radius of the circle is what I want. Now I will modify the stone. I look at the UV map of the stone. It's a cross. But I want the front portion of the stone to be right in the middle of the cross. There's a way of doing that. Follow active quads. Now the texture will look seamless. I make the texture into a material. I choose a seamless image. And do some bumping to give it a 3D look. I connect up the nodes. I turn on the light. And I can see the bumping. S to scale, I show a render to get a realistic rock stone texture. I adjust the UV layout by scaling, and I choose one edge and do a bevel. Cornice molding looks nice. Choose one face and inset it and extrude. Add more, and I put a light gray material to the extrusion. And I click assign. Click on the point cloud again. And go back to the geometry nodes. There are 32 vertices. I'll reduce that. I want all the stones to point inwards to the center. Click on Z to make them point inwards, but it's the position that it has to point into, so that has to be hooked up as well. Now it's all pointing inwards to the center. Turn on the house again. I can select the stones that have Z positive. And here's how I do it. I use a position node and a separate XYZ. That will choose all the positive Z values. Hook it into the selection. Now I adjust the vertices to get a value that has even numbers on each side. 20 works the best. And I can adjust the radius if I want, so it's balanced looking. I put a modifier on the stone. I taper the stone. with a modifier. I scale each stone with the value, and value is changed and carefully adjust it. To scale each one of the stones, I duplicate the stone to make a vertical column on each side, but I need to remove the modifier to make it rectangular looking, and I scale it so it will look similar to the circular archway. And it's fairly close, but it needs to be modified a bit. In the edit mode, I modify it. So it looks fairly similar. I put a mirror modifier on. Using the stone as a mirror object. And I adjust to get the grout the right width. Now I offset the UV layout to make the whole image look like it's seamless. I don't want it to repeat a pattern. Now the stone can be hidden and not rendered out, and I can add some decorations. The window is just a plane that is being subdivided with a wireframe modifier. And I can use a boolean to cut into a wall to make an opening. So that's the end of the tutorial.